All right, so today I've been out working in the garden. It's getting a little hot. It's about 9 degrees here in North Alabama, so I thought I'd come down here and show y'all how to make a catfish leader. So I use these same type of leaders with peg floats. I use them whether I'm anchoring or whether I'm dragging planer boards up on the Tennessee River. So about to show y'all how to do these. First thing I do, I like to start off with a 100-pound leader line. I usually take and cut it probably about 4 feet long. So I take and cut that. Now I've used all different name brands of leader line over the years. This is just some I bought at a store down around Birmingham. But anyways, I use this, I use slime line, I've used a little bit of everything, but that's just what I got right now. So the first thing we're going to do is tie a Snell knot on these big 12-aught hooks. I find that these size hooks, they work good for big catfish and little catfish. Turns out if the cat's hungry, it will eat whatever it is. It don't matter what size hook. And also these 3-inch peg floats and the big barrel swivel. These barrel swivels, they're rated up to 200 pounds, so they're more than adequate for anything that a catfish can throw at. So the first thing I want to show you guys how to do is tie a Snell knot. So right here I got my leader line in my right hand, my 12-aught hook in my left. So first thing, go ahead and stick the end of that leader line through the eye of your hook, run it back about 7 or 8 inches, and then take and stick that end straight back through the eye again, okay? Go ahead and leave you a loop, kind of hang on to it with a finger, and pull at least, 5, 6 inches, something like that, through with your other hand, okay? That way you can wrap it back around the shank. So you do that, you get your loop right there, then just start wrapping. At minimum, I like to do 7 or 8 times, but up to 10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so I do that, and I use my finger to hold that tail on the back side, then grab 2 fingers and just pull it. When you do that, you're going to want to sit there and moisten it up. That way you don't burn your line up. Pull it through, and then right there's a Snell knot. That's how to tie one. Kind of take before you pull it real tight, get that tail on the back side, pull it tight, just like that. Then I'll get my flush cuts and come in and I'll cut it about 3/8 of an inch off that Snell knot, just that way you got a little bit back there in case it does pull through a little. So that hook right there and that knot set up, it'll hold a lot. The way I tested this was I put it in a work vise back here in the shop, and I held on to it with that vise, with my leader tied on, and I literally pulled as hard as I could, and I weigh over 200 pounds, and it sat there and held me and didn't break. So that right there, that knot is plenty good enough to go out and catch any size catfish you'll find in North Alabama, Tennessee River, anything like that. So next thing, after I got my Snell knot done, I'm going to get right here, get my peg float. Now I used to use foam peg floats, but I found with anchor fishing, especially in thick cover or dragging through any kind of debris or anything, that the foam floats, they'd want to break up and on. You'd have to cut your hook off and put another one on. So I started using this particular kind of float right here. You can see they're more not as hard. They don't break. These come from Ironside Catfishing. You can probably get them somewhere else, but that's where I got them. So anyways, get your peg float, stick it through your leader, just run it on down. Usually I'll put about 8 inches off that hook right there. And they send this little wedge right here. You take and just shove that in all the way in the end of that peg float, and that kind of locks it into place. So the reason I run these peg floats is when I'm anchoring or when I'm dragging, you'll have your piece of cut skipjack herring or gizzard shad on there, and it holds it up off the bottom. It just keeps it from getting hung up in the cover you're fishing in, or when you're dragging, it's dragging across the bottom, it keeps that bait picked up a little bit. That way keeping it in strike zone a little bit, and also just keep it from getting hung up and causing you to break off. So right there, we're nearly done with this leader. That's what that looks like. Now the last thing we're going to do on this catfish leader right here is we're going to put our barrel swivel on. Again, these barrel swivels, I think they're rated up to 200 pounds, more than enough for any kind of catfishing we're going to do. But what we're going to do right here, we're going to tie Palomar knots. We're going to teach you how to tie one of them. First thing you do is stick your leader line through your barrel swivel, and take and get you another loop and stick it right back through that same hole on that barrel swivel. You see? I don't know if you can see that. So you'll take, and you'll have that about in the middle of it. Then you just take and do a loop, just like you're teaching your kids to tie their shoes. You got your loop right here. Get the end of your loop, stick it right back through that hole you just made, okay? See that? It's pretty simple, okay? So you do that. Then you grab your barrel swivel and pull it back through that loop you originally made, okay? Then you just start tightening it up. And when you start getting this thing tight, you're gonna have one little loop right here that's gonna stay a little long. And you're just gonna take and start pulling one at a time till you get it where you want it, okay? Pull them tight. And something else, before you cinch this thing down, you are supposed to put some moisture on it because it will burn up your leader. So take and do that. Take and do that, and pull it tight, one at a time. Get that thing as tight as you can. Then pull both of them separately. So that right there is your Palomar knot. That's one strong one. I used to use that one a lot when I bass fish. Now I mainly just use it for barrel swivels and all. Take and cut your tail, again about 3/8 of an inch off that. Boom, you're done. That's your catfish leader. 100-pound leader line, 12-aught hook, 3-inch peg float, and just a nice big barrel swivel. They'll hold up anything you're gonna do. Okay, so after I get that done, now how am I gonna store these in my boat? What am I gonna do? Because if you just wad this thing up and throw it in your boat, you're gonna have a mess. They're gonna be everywhere. You're gonna be getting these sharp hooks in you. So next thing you do, I'll take and kind of roll these things up, just a real light loops right there. Then I take and I'll keep some, just some Ziploc bags, some quart freezer bags, something like that, around the shop, in the shop kitchen. And what I do, I just take and stick them in there. And I'll make up about 4 or 5 of them at a time. That way, in case they get broke off while I'm fishing, I'll throw them in my tackle box on my boat. So that right there, that's it, folks. That's how I tie your catfish leaders. Here's some more that I've been making up while I'm sitting here trying to dodge raindrops now. But anyways, that's that. Hopefully you like the video. I'm gonna come out with some more of this how-to stuff on catfishing. If you will, tell your friends about us. That way we can keep making some videos for y'all to watch. Thank y'all.